Ubuntu. When you talk about Linux, the random person will only know Ubuntu. It is a basic Linux distro, the most known one. When you ask around on Reddit, on the Ubuntu subreddit, everybody will know the solution to the problem. There are also many books about Ubuntu, and it uses Snap, a new way to give you applications, but some people don't like it. It is useful for beginners. Linux Mint, a Linux version based on Ubuntu with a familiar desktop style similar to Windows 7, perfect for older computer, and it doesn't use Snap. If you don't like them, then Mint it is better than Ubuntu for you. Parrot OS, Ubuntu-based Linux distribution made by System76, an American company that also sells computers pre-installed with Linux. Now they are also developing a new desktop environment called Cosmic OS, similar to GNOME but new and written in the Rust programming language. Parrot OS works very well on NVIDIA devices. When I use my previous red and black gaming laptop, I used to use Parrot OS and worked very well, the best one, if you have NVIDIA. Debian Linux, among the most stable Linux distros, it is used on servers and on desktop when you want peace of mind, never update, but a system as stable as a rock. Peppermint OS, a Linux distribution based on Debian but made lighter, with a lighter desktop environment, perfect to give new life to older laptops, and it is also faster, because it is lighter with lighter version of the software. Canaima Linux, it is a Linux distro made by Venezuelan government. They are working on Linux since more than a decade, and now they also have different versions similar to Fedora Labs. They also have a gaming version. Of course, when you install it, the English language will be also available. They have a wonderful theme with colorful style, similar to maybe macOS. Nova Linux, a Linux distribution used in the island of Cuba, developed together with communism, and it means that everybody uses Linux even in other nations, different from America. Arch Linux, the meme Linux distribution. It is a rolling release. Every month there is a new installation media. You will have the newest version of Linux kernel with highest compatibility, but it is rolling release and a bit difficult to set up, not suited for beginners. Manjaro Linux, it is based on Arch but made simpler with a nice graphical based installation, supports many desktop environments. You can also change the kernel with a nice graphical applications, the best one if you like Arch Linux without its complexity. Void Linux, a more technical Linux distribution. It is rolling released like Arch Linux, but it is more stable. It uses another init system called Runit instead of systemd. I once installed it on my company's laptop and it worked pretty well, better than Windows 7. Gentoo Linux. The philosophy is right, but you need a lot of time on your hands. On Gentoo, you will compile every single software. In this way, you will have better security and performances. For example, security. The software that you compiled, you took out a piece of it, but there was a bug in that piece of software that you didn't include. In this way, your system will be safer. But you need to know what to add and what to not adding to have a streamlined system with better performances. Also compile a kernel only including the devices inside your computer to have faster. You need to be a genius, but if you understand it, it will be worth it. 20 years of your life. Linux from scratch, an almost mythical Linux distribution. that is very difficult to install, and this time, yes, you really need to read the manual. After you done it, it is like you are the biggest genius among the Linux users. If you want a true challenge, go for it. Kali Linux. You once watched the Mr. Robot for fun and you thought you are a hacker, but you are only a script kiddie. You only like it because of the dragon wallpaper. You use it as a daily drive distro, but its purpose isn't this. It is made for hackers, and you are not one. Parrot Security OS, the true hackers distro. Yes, you watched Mr. Robot, but you actually understood everything of it. You work for white hat penetration testing, you will get bugs, bounty hunter, you will make the security better online and offline, work in big companies using Linux to improve the operating system security and company security worldwide. Red Hat Linux. Red Hat is this American company that developed this Linux version. They also give a lot of money inside the Linux ecosystem and Linux kernel. Yes, you have to pay to get Linux support, but without them, the Linux community won't be as big as it is nowadays. Sometimes you have to pay for a greater good to make Linux accessible to everybody, to give money to those GitHub developers that only do it in their free time. Alma Linux and Rocky Linux. They are two Linux distributions born from the ashes of CentOS. They are free clones of Red Hat Linux working in the same way but totally for free. Fedora Linux, a Linux distribution developed by a subsidiary of Red Hat. They have two versions every 6 months. I tried Fedora and personally liked that. It worked really well, both for workstation and gaming, and I really liked that. OpenSUSE Linux is a free Linux distribution used in the business environment like Fedora, but its difference is while Fedora's desktop is GNOME, OpenSUSE likes KDE and it is developed in the Germany, European Union. Tails OS, a Linux distribution meant to be run from USB stick and never installed on your computer. It was the favorite one by Edward Snowden, the best Linux distro if you want to surf the Tor dark web without any troubles. You put it out of the computer and it will delete everything on your activities. Perfect for journalists. Trisuel Linux. You like Ubuntu, but you also like freedom. So this is like Ubuntu, but with a free Linux kernel. In this way, all the pieces of it will follow the OpenSUSE without binary blobs. You can see the code of everything, every device. In this way, there is a 0% chance of malware. Parabola, GNU Linux Libre. You believe Richard Stallman is the saint of the church of Emacs. You really like software freedom for everything. You don't trust modern computers. You use an old ThinkPad with Libre boot free BIOS implementation. And you only like the system if you can see everything about it. Everything is as clear as water. Without software that does what you don't know, you control everything of the system. You may believe in a cabin in the woods and only like send pigeons to get messages. Almost crazy, but if you will like privacy, this is for you.